Hey there, and welcome to this lesson that is going to focus all on teaching tag to your students. For teaching tag, we've included a great handout for you that you can download below this video, and the instructions for use that we've included for you outline more in depth of how you're going to use this in your classroom. So I want you to review the instructions for use that are listed in that download that you can grab, because we have some areas where you might run into trouble. The first one is this example. Let's look at it together. In the short story, The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant is about. First of all, there are two errors, but let's look at the glaring error. In the short story is about. That doesn't make any sense. And so students really need assistance in seeing why this doesn't make sense. And one of the biggest ways that we are able to do that with them is to just remove that middle part. Take out The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant and have them just say, in the short story is about, and they will see that it clearly does not make sense. And this is something that students will often do. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen students make this error, so it's something that you really want to address with them. The other error, did you catch it, is we are missing the quotation mark to close out the title of the short story. There should be another quotation mark after the necklace. So we want to remind students about specific MLA formatting rules when it comes to titles of works. So short stories, poems, shorter pieces are generally in quotation marks, and longer works like novels are italicized, or if you are handwriting it, they would underline it. So that's just a little area that you might run into trouble with your kids that you might want to remind them about. Something else that I want to talk to you about is comma usage. There are many schools of thought when it comes to comma usage, but let's look at this example that I want to specifically talk about comma usage with. So here we have our tag, the thought-provoking novel To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is about, and then we would continue our sentence. And here you'll see that I have two commas around To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Well, I'm assuming here that To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is in a positive. So I'm going to put it within those commas to signify the fact that it is in a positive. Well, in all of the research that I've done and in all of the polls that I've taken from teachers across the country, people are split across the board. Actually, there are many schools of thought, but a lot of people have said you should just have one comma. A lot of people have said, yep, include those two commas, or some people have said you should have no commas. So my suggestion to you is to pick whatever you want to do, whatever you feel is best for you and your students, and make sure that students are consistent with that teaching. So however you choose to teach it to your kids, just make sure that they are consistent with it. We teach two commas to create that a positive for the title and the author. You could also have your students rewrite the sentence so that you don't even run into this issue to begin with. So what we've included for you in the teaching tag instructions for use page are two examples that you can put on the board or display on your overhead and have your students fix the errors that are included there. And so that's just great little practice to do as a whole class together, or put it on the board and have your students work with a partner and then come back together, or have students take an expo marker and write it on the board, the errors that they fix. That's a fun way to get students involved and engaged. So that is the first part of the teaching tag instructions for use page. Following that page, we have our student handout. So on the student handout, you will see that we have a teacher example for you. And the teacher example includes strong vocabulary, comma usage, which we just talked about, and then it's also in MLA format. So we have Charlotte's Web in italics. Well, that's what I'm talking about when I say MLA format. We're not getting into the crazy specifics of MLA format quite yet. So we included this great teacher example for your students to see what a strong tag looks like. And students can even take it farther than what we've included as well. Also on this student handout, we've included 4 student practice sentences. So for each of these sentences, we've included the author, the title, and the genre. And so even if students haven't read these books or these short stories, they're still able to practice writing a tag just using that information. And so once they write the basics of the tag, We want them to go back and add that strong vocabulary, make sure that it's in complete MLA format, make sure that you have strong comma usage, however you're choosing to teach it, and all of those elements of a strong tag that we want them to include. And of course, we've included an answer key for you. So you can use these examples to go over them with your students, talk about strong vocabulary, talk about comma usage, talk about the way that we've written the tag. Maybe we have it as genre, author, title, and how that's interchangeable. So you want to use these examples that we've included on the answer key to provide more examples for your students so they can see what stronger writing looks like. So that's how we've always introduced tag. Using partners, having them come up to the board and make corrections to the sentences is always a fun way to get them up and out of their seats and involved in what you are teaching. Now that you know how to teach tag to your students, go ahead and download the student worksheets, make copies, take it into your classroom, and teach this concept to them. We know you can do it. We are so excited for you and to hear what you think about how this lesson went with your kids.